So, what the Lord is really showing me at this time is that some of you may have been having some wants and needs and desires for things. Lately, this could be material things, or it could just be other types of goals, dreams, desires, even could be a partner, whatever it may be. And you're reminded that the Lord actually knows everything that you need and you desire. He knows it all because he created the heavens and earth, as it says in Genesis, and he created us and he created every part of us and everything on this earth. So he knows everything from the beginning to the end. He's everywhere at once. He is omnipresent. And it goes with the verse of Psalm 23, 1-3, that the Lord's my shepherd and I have all that I need. He is our shepherd. And just like sheep in his flock, we are. So sheep in a flock, they rely on the shepherd. So they cannot function without the shepherd. They have to trust the shepherd to be able to feed them, to be able to let them out maybe into a different pasture, to shear them down of their wool. They have to rely on him for all of those things that they need. And the shepherd knows, okay, I need to do this with the sheep today. I need to do this with the sheep tomorrow. Otherwise, there's going to be problems. So it's the same analogy that the Lord knows you as well. He knows what your needs are for the day in terms of food, water, shelter, even your what you need in the kingdom partner. He knows all of that, and he's aware of it, and he's working on it, and he's on it. So with that verse, that the Lord is my shepherd and I have all that I need, it's like we are guided to be sheep in a flock to him and know that he's our shepherd, and we can fully rely and trust on him to provide all of our needs, to rely on him just like sheep in a flock, and to not have needs, to not have wants. So I hope that helps some of you and puts it into perspective. When we fully trust and surrender into him, so much happens, because not only is it about our kingdom partner or our material needs, but it's also about he knows what we need, of course, spiritually on the inside. He knows what our soul needs, what we need in terms of spiritual healing, in terms of transformation within. So when we're allowing him to shepherd us completely, we're also allowing him to shepherd that spiritual transformation and that renewal of our soul. That's why in that verse, let me just open it back up, when it says, he lets me rest in green meadows, he leads me beside peaceful streams, he renews my strength, he guides me along right paths. So when he lets us rest in green meadows and he leads us beside peaceful streams, he's also helping us through our spiritual journey. He's helping us through where we need to be healed in our soul, and where we need to be broken free of certain bondages. He leads us through different places, destinations, journeys, meadows, so that we can receive what we need as well. But we also have to listen to what he tells us to do as well. If he tells you to do certain things, and sometimes God will use somebody else and speak through that person to tell you what you need to do. God will use someone else that's a good vessel for that. So we need to listen to what he wants us to do as well, for him to be able to shepherd us as well. Sometimes I think that's part of it, is listening and taking action, not just sitting back and going, okay, he's going to shepherd everything. So obviously full surrender and trust is a huge aspect of it. because we are, but we are more intelligent than sheep. We have brains and emotions and things, and so he can, we've got to do some as well. So that's pretty much that. And I'm also, what the Lord also wanted to talk about was that some of you could be going through a situation right now where you want to use force or aggression, or you're frustrated or angry, and you're guided to pray for peace and a peaceful solution, and use gentleness, not force, in a situation right now, because gentleness is needed. Being delicate, being soft with the situation, seeing people through the eyes of the Lord, seeing people through love and how God sees people, because we've all fallen short and sinned in some way. Everyone's flesh needs to die daily. We need to be sanctified and cleansed every day and washed clean every day of our uncleanness. So no one's perfect. No one is superior, or no one is better than the other person. No one has a right to look with haughty eyes on another person. The Lord actually detests haughty eyes. So we're guided to see people through the eyes of love, because let's say you're struggling with somebody because they're doing something to you, or they're acting in a certain way. You have to see it like this as well, is that you were there once. You were doing the same thing that they were doing once. So it's like everyone has been in each other's shoes. We've all gone through struggles. But as you were going through that particular thing that maybe that person that was doing was hurting you, that's hurting you now, it's like God still saw you with love when you were going through and doing that particular thing. He still saw you through the eyes of love, and he still loved you because he actually saw you beyond all of your sins and your flaws and your imperfections and your mistakes. So he actually saw you for the child of God that you are, beyond all of that. So he still gave you mercy and grace and faithfulness and forgiveness, and he was still patient with you as you went through that time where you were not maybe what you are today. So we have to look upon other people and give them also grace and mercy and love. We have to also look upon them with the Lord's eyes, in that sense. So, but we also, doesn't mean that we need to yoke ourselves to them as well, because we have to be mindful of yoking ourselves closely to people who are not good for our spiritual journey. So we can love people and we can see them with the eyes of the Lord, but it doesn't mean that we're going to go yoke ourselves to them. And yoking ourselves is like talking to them a lot and spending a lot of time with them, because otherwise all of their stuff, their problems, their demonic attachments and things, it kind of can come across into us, into our life as well. So we just want to separate that, and set boundaries, because so seeing people with the eyes of the Lord and loving them, it doesn't mean that we let them in and we let all of their stuff into our life. So these are all revelations and insights and things that's just been coming through recently as I've been spending time with him. So I just wanted to share that with you. I might have to do a part 2 soon, because this is gonna end soon, very shortly, this video, because I've actually got a lot of things I want to talk about. I might just end it now. So the reason why we spent so much time on that message today of the Lord is my shepherd is because a lot of you may have been having some sort of stress, worry, grievances, anxiety recently about your needs being provided for in whatever way that may be. So that's why you're reminded of how he is shepherding you. But some of you, as I said, you need to take action, because he's actually shepherding you and he's leading you, but you're not actually following through on taking the action that's needed for him to lead you to the place he wants to lead you to. The Holy Spirit's also putting into my mind, just reminding me of something that a pastor said the other day, which I heard. He said that sometimes we don't have anything in our life for the Lord to breathe on so we can prosper. So we need to actually have our life set up in a way where we have something going so he can breathe on it. So we could be waiting for some sort of financial increase, or for something to drop in, or for a blessing of some way, but we don't have anything open for him to bless us. Like, for example, if you are, I don't know how to explain it fully, so I'm just going to use this as an example. Like, let's say you had investments, or you had things on a shops that you were selling, or you trying to think of good examples, or you had like you were like an influencer, or you were posting online, and so you got things open so that people can donate to you, or they can send you money on PayPal. That's kind of like an example. That's kind of like examples of how the Lord could breathe on that, because he would be able to breathe on those areas so that it would bring some type of return into your life if he wanted to bless you. But some of you don't have any doorways open at all, so for him to bless you. So there's nothing for him to breathe on in your life. So I hope that makes sense. That's all I have to say about that now. A lot of patience is needed as well in this time. Patience in Psalm 65-11. Because this could be a bit of a waiting season for a lot of you, or it's not the right time for harvest right now. With your finances, you've just sown some seeds, or you've been growing some seeds for a while, and it's not time yet for them to come to full fruition and harvest. So for many of you, it's a waiting season of patience. It could be a waiting season of patience when it comes to your kingdom partner as well, whatever it may be. It could even be you could be waiting for the Lord to take you somewhere, or waiting for him to exalt you in some way, or waiting for him to put you in a certain position, or whatever it may be. And it's like, it's just not the time right now, because he may be wanting to do things with you. Maybe Jesus wants to heal you in some way, restore you, or he wants to work on your character, or you need to learn more information, you need to study, you need to understand a few concepts and things more before you're able to go to that next level. Or he doesn't want to bless you with this particular amount of money or finances yet, because you still haven't understand or learned some important principles. So it could be so many reasons why, but eventually your pathways will overflow with abundance. You will crown the year with a bountiful harvest. But right now it's a bit of a waiting season where you have to learn patience. And I think that sometimes he will test us through patience. So he will see, are you patient? Can you wait for this thing? And can you wait in righteousness? Can you wait in holiness for this particular thing that I want to give you? And if you can't, well, then you sort of failed that test that the Lord has given you, because he wants to see if you can wait for that particular thing and wait on his timing. And if we don't wait and we try to force it or push it, I think that we can either go into slavery to the devil, or we can miss out on that blessing, or prolong that blessing, I should say, or we can ruin that blessing because it wasn't the right time yet to have that particular thing, and we tried to rush it before it was time, so we ruined it, or we sabotaged it, or we have delayed it now a long time in some way, or we have it really depends what the blessing is, but that's what I'm feeling he's saying through me. So the other message that we got was that he wants time. He wants you to rest or take time to play. Now, this is not going to be for everyone, this message. It really depends what you have been doing the last month or whatever. I mean, everyone's got a different schedule and things they've been doing, but some of you feel you haven't really played much, you haven't really rested much, you've just worked a lot, and you've been working so hard for him, and maybe you feel guilty about resting, or you feel that you shouldn't rest. So he's saying to make time to play and rest, as well as work, whichever one it may be. Do you need to make time to work or rest or play? So he wants you to know that you can do that this time. You don't need to feel guilty. So I think it's well with being patient, just with what I was saying before. If we try to force something or rush something before it's the time for it to happen naturally, especially in the dating world as a woman, what will happen is, if that man is not for you, or it's not the right time to be with him, or he's not developed in his character, or he's not equally yoked to you, or God doesn't want you to be with him right now, or he's struggling with demonic powers, has got influence over him, God will actually get that person to sabotage the relationship, as he knows that they aren't ready, and he's doing this to protect you. So you will also notice a preventative in him pursuing you. So even if as a woman it's not guided that you do this, but let's just say you made some sort of direct moves on him, and you still notice that there was like a preventative in him pursuing you, or he wasn't pursuing you, or he wasn't after these direct moves, that's actually God protecting you through not allowing him to progress with you. Especially as a woman, if you are leading, it should be a red flag immediately. So you shouldn't be leading in any type of way or stepping up. That already shows that there's an imbalance, that there's something wrong, because he should be leading, you should be feeling safe to submit. So that's automatically, that signifies that there's a lot wrong, and that you need to back away from that relationship, because that's also something that's happening due to your protection. The Lord's not allowing him to lead for that reason as well. So sometimes if we don't listen, then he will allow that person to hurt you many times, so that you remove them, so that they can be removed from your life in this season, or so that you can remove them as an idol, that you've put them above God, you've idolized them above God in some way, or they're very distracting in your life and they take them a lot of time. So God will let them do that with you, so they can be removed. So I think that as well, if somebody is operating under a lot of demons, or they're struggling with a lot of demonic warfare, that there's something about when they enter your life, their presence is very strong in an overwhelming way, and it takes over every single thing in your life, and it's hard to focus on anything else. And I think, yeah, okay, sometimes that can seem like love, but that's a demonic presence, principality, or overlord over that person, which is actually coming over onto your life, because it's trying to take you away from focusing on God. So that's the last message that I really wanted to add. So God lets people sabotage it and won't let them pursue you and go for you, because he's protecting, and his hand is in every single thing.